Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here, and welcome to Mixed Media Frenzy. This is one that, I'm going to be honest here, the resolution of the photo is so low that I actually had trouble figuring out, I kind of look at these and try to figure out how the artist did it, and I don't always do it the same way, but at least it provides something of a guide. So I'm gonna say I'm kind of on my own here. I see the little crosshatch kind of things. I have a stamp that does that. I have a die that does that. And I have a stencil that would do something like that. So I may use one or all three of those. And there's some leaves over here. I've done some. Based on my photo, I'm going to use a different color scheme. It isn't going to be a fall color scheme. One of the things I noticed is that let me see if I can get it close enough. If you notice right along here, it looks like there's some, I'm reading that as almost a doily texture there. So I've got a doily here that I've cut in half, and I'm going to kind of put it on the paper and maybe use it as, I'm going to use gesso as a medium to kind of go over it. I don't really want I don't want it to look like a doily, if you will. So I'm going to see how I fare with that. And I'll do that maybe before I do the main thing. I'm gonna this big splotch, I'm gonna call it. Okay, so here's my idea. I'm going to use this worn lipstick, which is one of the Distress Oxide pink colors. I've got spun sugar and picked raspberry to kind of add to the mix. I'm going to use this and some clear gesso to make a splotch on my mat. And then I'm going to take my paper and just kind of do this and pick up that splotch. And then I'm going to start adding layers of texture. So we'll see how well that works. I'm going to do this spun sugar, which is the lighter color, all the way out kind of to the edges. That may be a little bit wider than I want. And I'm going to spray a little water just to kind of see kind of where that is. I'm going to do some spills of this. Let's see. I might want to just kind of dot that around with my paintbrush, and just to see what happens, see if this transfers at all. I'll try to maybe texturize what's on the mat with this. And now I need a place to put this. I'm gonna undo some paper towel here and just lay that on top because I'm going to use that again. Okay, now I'm going to make my first impression here. So we're just going to do that and see. Well, it just doesn't look, it kind of looks like the packaging technique. Let me try smurshing it around a bit like that, and then I'll take the paper and kind of do that. Actually, what I didn't do was add the gesso to it, because I want the gesso as a background for any future wet work that I do on the paper. It's not going to be a full coating of gesso, but this may change that texture look anyway. I may be glad I did it that way. Okay, so there's my beginning splotch, and I'm happy with it. I'm going to take this away because I think I'm going to do the rest kind of ad hoc. Let me let this dry a bit, and I'll turn my attention to the doilies. I was thinking of just kind of getting some gesso. This is clear gesso, and I had both the tube and this tub. This is Dina Wakley clear gesso. This is Art Basics from Finnabair, and I just kind of want to mash that down, and then I'm going to, actually I'm going to do this with a paper towel. Just going to kind of, this is sort of gluing it down and giving it a coating that's applying texture without color. Okay, and I'll cut those bits off of it. This one, I don't want it to be the same as that one. This one I may do more this way. I do want some off the side like that. So let me get this on, and I'm having it overlap the splotch because I think that will actually add some interest. It kind of has it overlapping the pink a bit, and I can apply some of the other texture on top of this doily texture. We can see how that turns out. Okay, I'm going to cover that up. I'll let that dry, and then after it's dry, I will work on cutting the edges of that. Okay, put it off to the side, and we'll work now on my photo cluster, and we'll come back and add some texture to that. Okay. Toss that. Okay, I have kind of done some of this. In the original, there's a tag, a piece of cardstock. It looks like some vellum or tissue underneath. And there's a title. I've got this really cute photo of Katie, and I think it was done, the bubbles in it and the colors and the tips of her hair and so forth were done with a filter, but I didn't take this photo or filter it myself, so I don't know how it was done. It was something that came up in my son's Facebook memories, and it's a photo of Katie. I'm gonna guess that she was maybe 12 in this photo, judging by her glasses there. I've got I think this is going to be the title, and I don't know if I want it here or up here where this is, so I'm going to reserve judgment for now. I have a Bramble Fox Perspective that's, it's a nice thick piece of Perspex, and it looks like torn notebook paper, and I think that's perfect for right there by the photo. So I'm going to get some glue and get it down. Let's see, do I care what side? I don't think so. I think the other side may be a tad shinier, so we'll use it. And my photo is propped up on some foam, and I intentionally left that side of it, you know, I had the foam go only so far there. So these were a couple of tickets that were in a sticker sheet that I was trying to kill. I have a piece of a scrap of paper here that I thought could go kind of right back there so that it shows all the way up that length of tag. So let me do that. I'll actually do it on here so that it, wherever it ends up on the tag, it'll stick. And I've got foam between the photo and this green pattern paper, and then foam on the back of the tag, so it's all going to stand out nicely, I think. So it's just a multicolor stripe that kind of plays off the colors of the bubbles. I have a Bramble Fox die that cuts these things. So I've got two of those in two different color schemes. I've got some leaves, but I have these little stickers. If I can get to them here. And this one with the ice cream cone was really cute, and it's got the pink cone, and it has the same color green as this paper. And then I've got a couple hearts here on the same, from the same sticker sheet, and I think this sticker sheet was a very old sticker sheet that was titled Baby Girl, and I probably bought it when Katie was a baby girl, and I guess it's better late to use it than never. I've got this Bramble Fox title that says Your Bubble or Our Bubble, and this came in a Fox box along with this, which is a group of bubbles with hearts on them. I think I'm going to use this on this layout, and I'm going to save this for a photo of all of us at home, maybe having Thanksgiving dinner in our bubble, just us. I have die cut this piece of tissue paper, and I kind of wanted it underneath the foam here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the foam, and then I may add another piece of foam to the let's see, if I do it like that, that seems to work. And you know, I could cut, let me do that, just to make it look like it was wide enough to go both sides. I'll cut this off. It has a stitched kind of squared off border, but I could maybe get away with using it there, like that. Okay, let me put a little bit of wet adhesive kind of right at the juncture, because I know it has to go in a little bit. Okay, that works. And now I'm going to put some more foam back there. I hate using black foam because I do cut images or alphas and images that I use black. And so black and white foam, I can use any color when it's hidden, but the black and white I can use when it shows. Does that brown show through there? It does not. So that is a good start on the photo cluster. And then I've got all these possible little cuts. I've got these Bramble Fox parentheses, which I thought I would do around the title. Let me, while that's drying, I'm going to put a little foam back behind the title. It's just a piece of ephemera from a collection. A collection. I have no idea at the moment what collection that is. It says Sparkle, so you might think a Chamel collection, but I don't think it was. There are probably a dozen of you out there who recognize it and are screaming at the screen right now, telling me what it is, but it's one of my, what I will call orphaned embellishments that has ended up being categorized in my, I have a drawer for girl papers and embellishments, and another one for boys, and another one that's just for kids, and those may get blended one of these days when I organize things, but for now, that's the way they are. And those drawers are, relatively full, but I was noticing the other day that they're full of things that I may not love anymore. So they may be headed to the recycle bin. Okay, so let's see how this is gonna end up. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these edges. And I'm gonna say my doily has kind of curled up. What I may do, and I can do this off camera, is, because that part isn't going to get drastically changed in the process I'm getting ready to do to complete the layout. So I can probably go back over this with some gel medium, which is a better glue than gesso. It's actually intended for that. And I can kind of get that down and kind of subdued the way I want it. So I'm sorry about that. I may just go ahead and add a little bit of this liquid glue just to kind of stop the curling. And I'll do that here. The problem, as I'm noting here with the gesso, is it kind of starts out a little wet. It dries quickly, but in this case it dried so quickly that, and I may not have gotten it on absolutely every place that I intended. It was wet enough to curl things and dried quickly enough that it didn't stick down all the things that I would have expected it to stick down. Okay, so my color scheme here is obviously going to be based on a lot of pink, and I want to try something just for some subtle color. I'm going to pat this stencil down, and that's not doing much there. So we'll go back to what makes more sense here. I don't think that's damp enough to cause a problem to my, I'm not going to do it that way. Let's go back to this. I'm going to fold this over and do a different try something, use a different process here. I get that wet and then kind of bring it down on there. Okay, so that's leaving some texture that has some of those okay. It's getting some color over here, which is fine. And because it's done that on that one side, I may just kind of go do it on that side. Okay, not a completely successful experiment there. And blotting it up leaves a more subtle, you can see right in here where there's some of that burlap look to it. So I'm gonna pull out my Wendy Vecchi stamp. And here I'm going to press it directly onto the, well actually I'll go ahead and ink it this way. And assuming this is the up, this is where I want, okay, that's good. Let me get a little more, maybe kind of off here to the side. Ooh, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, and then I'm going to do some here so it even overlaps the doily, and I might do some there that overlaps the doily as well. Okay, that's enough of that color. I know I have a lid here somewhere. I'm gonna maybe just kind of tap off some of that ink. Around and about. This is just kind of using ink, not particularly what I'm doing here, kind of giving it some brush texture because there's a little bit of gesso and and the original color on here. Okay, now I'm going to see if when I place the photo cluster here, what kinds of, let's say I have this here, and maybe I can kind of use that die cut. That's another Bramble Fox die there, and I've got this pink kind of barbed wire there. I've got this blue arrow that could go there. See if I want to do that. Where would I use these bubbles? Maybe under there. Okay, and then I can start kind of filling in with some of these leaves. Okay, let's start gluing some of this down. I'll hold off on this because this may actually look better there, especially if I have it kind of overlapping that. In which case, maybe I want this kind of tucked under that tissue paper. Let me get my tweezers and kind of lift that up a bit. Well, that's not even glued down, but yeah, I think I like that better. Okay, that makes it kind of heavily blue on this side, so I may do something a little different. Okay, but first thing we're gonna do is get the photo glued down. I'm gonna do this, but I'm also going to add some wet glue. Oh, and I have to use my, before I do that, I want to overlay this and I've got another one of those in this blue color, so maybe I could have it over here, kind of done like that. Okay, let me get a clean, do this, and use that to kind of press that down. That's quite a hefty, I think that's glued down, and I think that one's glued down. Okay, now I'm reasonably certain that this is absolutely where I want this here, and I may put some leaves up there. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of the solid parts and hope that yeah, it's fine. That's great. And that really nicely reflects those bubbles. Let me kind of stick that under there, and I can go over that with some leaves and kind of render it part of the background. But I love that color blue with the pink. It's not everybody's cup of tea, I'm sure, but I love that together myself. Let me kind of stick that down there, and again, that can kind of become part of the background when I overlay some leaves. Let me get this arrow in there. Okay. Well, you know what? It looks like it's going to need some glue all the way down. And let's do the title. I like this title because it has different colors in it that all kind of pick up the green and blue and pink of the bubbles and the other elements I have. It adds an orange in, and I was trying to see if I could include an orange, and I couldn't find an orange that I liked well enough to add it, so I didn't. So this right here is, I'm calling it an accent. Okay, there. Now, let's see where these leaves should go. And I've got the little squares that came out of here, and I thought, if appropriate, I might, put one down somewhere. I think this one can go in there. I cut leaves out of both the green and white striped side and this pink and white side. It's a Heidi Swap paper scrap there. And oh, I did find an orange. So do I maybe want to add that orange? Up here. I'm going to stick it underneath the pink flower so that it's more of a background. Now, the other side of that orange paper is this stripe right here, and that might look nice there. Might look nicer than the orange, actually. Let's do it that way. Again, it's more appropriate as a kind of an underlayer. Okay, I like that darker bit there. Okay, here's a green large leaf, and I'm gonna kind of pair it with this pink and white striped leaf and maybe tuck it right in here. Yeah, and that takes advantage of all the multiple layers of foam that are in the photo cluster. It allows me to kind of press some things apart. Okay, here, and here's a black and white, and I'm doing that to kind of reflect that, and it seemed good. There's sort of some dark colors in there, and I'm gonna squeeze this in under the tissue and over that blue fencing, I guess I call it. Okay, another pair of black and white and pink Or I could use this dark, and maybe over here might be, if I did that, this is just kind of jarring to me, so I'm going to stay with the black and white. And I'm maybe going to put this right up under the photo. Okay, we'll do that. I have no idea how this relates to the original. At this point, I'm just on my own trying to use up all of the embellishments that I cut for this and not have anything go to waste. Okay, I think that's it. I had thought I might scatter some of these inner bits. I do want to do some sprinkles, and when I say sprinkles, I probably mean splotches of this pure, this is the re-inker for the, and I just want to do a few. They'll dry with a dark edge around them and the oxidized part in the center. So I'm just going to do 3. I'm kind of using them as I might do enamel dots. And then I'm going to add some black sprinkles. Let me get some down here on the doily. This is the Dilutions shimmer spray, and the black just really develops a nice shimmer when it dries. Okay, so let's see. There were some things I wanted to doodle on here. There's some little that's why I have my handy pen out. There's some little like seagulls, maybe, and or birds in flight. So I thought I might just kind of doodle some of those and just fill them in roughly so that it looks like doodling. I'm hoping it doesn't look like Halloween bats, right? Okay, there. And then I think there were 3 more over in this area. And then I also thought I might doodle an arrow or 2. It's like right in here. And just do one with several points there and kind of fill that in. And I'll do another one here, similar, but with a tail. And a little bit bigger you know, just to make it look different. Okay, and like I said, I will get these curly parts kind of glued down off camera, but I think I'm going to call that finished. I like the variety of pinks and different textures there. I've got black spots on those pink hearts, which I don't mind too much, or at least if I do mind, what's the point? So there's the finished. Let me do, well, actually right here, I want to do some just lined up triangles. Just to add a little bit of that black accent. I really love this leaf, which is the underside of the leaf I intended to use. So I've got the kind of the crosshatch look accomplished by stamps and die cuts. And this little die cut underneath, I've reinforced that kind of aqua color, including this glittery arrow. And what's that? That's something that I have smudged, I guess. But do I hate it? Let's see what I can do about that, actually. I'm gonna rub some gesso on it and see if I can reduce the impact of it. Oops, I'm picking up some of that black ink. So I'm making it worse, but what I'm gonna do is this. I think I'm gonna try using this ink pad to add some texture there. That's not coming through very well. I'll go with this one. Okay, so it's an unwanted smudge, but if I add another one that kind of echoes that over on the other side, it looks intentional, right? It's all about intention. Okay, so it's done. I hope that it inspires you to take an image that you have no idea what to do with, like I didn't on this one, and just kind of set about doing your own thing. Have fun and check out all the Mixed Media Frenzy ladies and their interpretations of this lovely lift, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.